2020, the World Bank reported that the world economy was worth $84 trillion. Among the 206 countries in the list, Nepal stood at the 97th position with an economy worth $33 billion. According to the report, the average yearly income of a Nepali person is $1,190, making Nepal a lower middle-income country just recently. Such improvement of numbers in recent years has been largely credited to the increase in remittance. Over the last 20 years, remittance has increased from $100 million to $8 billion today. This increase in remittance is the result of mass migration due to conflicts, political instability, and unemployment in the country over the last few decades. But why is remittance so important to Nepal? Whenever someone residing in country A sends money personally to a resident of country B, the amount is the remittance received. The origin of remittance in Nepal dates back to 2 centuries. After the Treaty of Sugauli in 1816-80, over 4,500 Nepalese youngsters were recruited in the British Gurkha Regiment. The process of migration of Nepalese people for employment opportunities then outreached to the tea states of Darjeeling and the forest of Assam in the second half of the 19th century. Then came the oil boom in the early 1970s. That is what motivated the economic migration to the Middle East from South Asia and other parts of the world. Nepal, for the last 35 years, has been seeing labor migration to Gulf states, Malaysia, and other Southeast Asian countries, shifting the Nepalese economy from agriculture-based to remittance-based. Nepal reported an $8 billion remittance in 2020. That is an almost 300% increase from the $3 billion just 10 years ago. There are an estimated 4.5 million Nepalese in foreign employment, and this figure is only growing, as 1,500 Nepalese leave the country every day. Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, and Kuwait are the major destinations. Come to think of it, why isn't India in the list? Despite being the second largest remittance contributor to Nepal after Qatar, India does not make it to the list because labor migration to India is never officially recorded. There's an estimated 4 million Nepalese living and working in India. Nepal and India share an open border. This allows people from both countries to travel freely and has always been a topic of discussion. Hence, unlike other countries, Nepali workers going to India do not require work permits. If you look at the numbers, they are more or less the same for Indians migrating to Nepal. How about this for a fact check? Nepali workers in India had sent remittance worth 102 billion rupees in 2017, while the Indian workers sent home 302 billion rupees from Nepal in the same year. If you do the maths, that's a difference of 200 billion rupees. The difference between the actual amount of money received by households and the remittance amount recorded by the Nepal Rashtra Bank is quite unknown, but is expected to be in hundreds of billion. That's where Hundi comes into play, and you probably have heard of it. The amount of remittance coming through illegal channels is referred to as Hundi. In 2017 alone, the Department of Revenue Investigation had intercepted illegal transactions worth 4 billion rupees done over a period of just 4 months. Another research from 2018 shows that Nepal Rashtra Bank misses out on foreign currency worth around $384 million in 1 year from some 40,000 Nepali EPS workers in Korea. These numbers reveal quite a lot about the actual worth of remittance. In 2020, Nepal's GDP stood at $33 billion. To put it into perspective, we can say that's about 14% of Elon Musk's net worth. According to the World Bank, Nepal is fourth among the countries receiving the highest proportion of remittance in terms of GDP. with the country receiving remittance worth 24% of the GDP in 2020. And over the years, the dependence on remittance has only been growing. Now let's talk about money. The fundamental nature of money demands it to be spent, invested, or saved. So when people receive remittance, they have more money to spend, invest, and save. The banks have more money to lend out at lower rates, resulting in more opportunities for people to borrow and invest. This increased circulation of money helps the economy grow and expand. Remittance also contributes to almost 50% of Nepal's foreign exchange reserves. That's how we pay for imports, the country's debt, keeping the Nepalese currency stable. Almost 56% of Nepali households receive remittances, and this has a good impact on their living standards as there is increased spending on education, better quality healthcare, and quality daily consumption. This is one of the main reasons why the remittance increased unexpectedly after the pandemic. Nepal's Central Bureau of Statistics has even attributed the 11% decline in poverty between 1996 and 2004 to an increase in remittances. During the pandemic, it's estimated that 1.6 to 2 million jobs are likely to be compromised in Nepal. And with businesses being shut down, this drastically affected household incomes and has severely disrupted the flow of money in the economy. Several surveys suggest that most of the families in Nepal receive more than 12,000 rupees of remittance every month. So in a way, remittance saved Nepal from the pandemic to a larger extent than we could imagine. Over the last few decades, remittance has been the biggest source of income for Nepal. But it's rather been an economic compulsion than an opportunity. The Nepalese youth, without no choice, have been committing the most productive years for someone else's prosperity, raising questions about themselves and the nation they were born in. In the last 11 years since 2008, more than 7,500 migrant workers have died in various countries, and these are just official numbers. The real numbers are much bigger. In 2019 alone, 111 of the 730 deaths of Nepali migrants was suicide. Is remittance important for Nepal? It definitely is. But the question is, for how long?